Okay, my name's Moshe. I'm coming to you from Israel and the Galilee, where I've lived many years. And what we're going to talk about today, of course, is Bible, is where the beast and the false prophet set up their temple, and that's where they're going to get people to take the mark of the beast and so forth. That's where the statute of talks will be. So, did you know your Bible actually very plainly and clearly and specifically tells you where it's going to be? It does. And I'll read it to you. I'm in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood, this is Apostle John talking, or writing it, I stood upon the sand of the sea. So he's by the beach, by a coastal area, right? And saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon the name of blasphemy. If you go to Revelation 17, you realize that you understand this description here is of the beast, not of Satan. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Now, he didn't look like a leopard. These are describing his attributes. He springs at you suddenly, claws and fangs, And his feet were as the feet of a bear, which can rip you up with his paws. His claws are huge. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which goes around looking to devour the weak, the young, the weak ones. Looks for an easy meal, an easy fix. Okay, and the dragon, now the dragon is Satan. Satan's not actually a dragon. This is describing his attributes. Okay, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat. So Satan, the dragon, gave the beast and his seat. His seat is his throne. Power and seat are kind of tied together. And great authority. Well, he's sitting basically in Satan's throne as if he's Satan, so he has the authority that Satan had or has at this time an authority. But he gives him his seat. So really all we have to do is look to see if the Bible tells us where Satan's seat is. And of course, the Bible tells us that, or I wouldn't be bringing it up, would I? And whoops, I went to the wrong chapter here. Give me a second to get back. Hit the wrong one here. Okay. I'm in Revelation chapter 2, verse 12. The 7 churches. This is one of the churches. So I'll read Revelation 2, chapter 12, right in your own Bible. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos, write these things. Now, Pergamos is a city that's in Cyprus, actually northeastern Cyprus. And that piece of Cyprus, North Cyprus today, happens to be owned by and operated and controlled by Turkey, or as they pronounce it, Turkey. That's what Turkey calls calls their own country, but we say Turkey. What the heck, right? Um, and that's in the northeastern part near the beaches and sand and all of that. Now, some of your more modern translations use the word Pergamum. That is incorrect. When you dig deep into the old text, it's Pergamos. But Pergamum, of all the crazy things, is the city located in Turkey proper. So either way you slice the cake, it leads you to Turkey. And I need to point out there never was a city inside Israel called Pergamos or Pergamum. So it's the theater of the absurd to say that this is in Israel. Let's dig deeper. Right? Okay, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges. That's Yeshua who we read about in Revelation 19. When he's coming down to earth, you know, to get the beast and the false prophet thrown in the lake of fire, a lot being the first idiots to make it there, and then New Jerusalem is coming. So that's where you see it. So in Revelation 19, so this is referencing Yeshua with the sharp sword with two edges. And then in Revelation 2:13, it says, I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. That's in Revelation 2:13. So Yeshua is telling us that Pergamos is where Satan's seat is. There it is. Now, a lot of people go to Cyprus from Israel on a ferry, and it's such a big trip. You have to sleep overnight on the ferry. It's quite a distance. It's not around the corner. It's all the way out in the ocean. There's no land border with Israel or any country next to Israel. It's completely separate, distinct from Israel. Never was part of Israel, and never will be. It's not included in the land covenant of Genesis 1:15, where the Lord gives us the covenant, he gives the land from the Euphrates to the Nile. That does not include Cyprus. That's out in the middle of the Mediterranean. Our other border is the edge of the sea, the Mediterranean. You don't go into the Mediterranean and claim other countries. Okay. Where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. So not only does Yeshua tell us that this is where Satan's seat is, he tells us that this is where Satan dwells or lives. So of course Yeshua told us in Luke 10 that he saw, Satan get thrown out of heaven, of course, with a third of the angels, and they went to earth. And this is where Satan's seat is, and this is where Satan dwells, in Cyprus, which happens to be owned, possessed, and controlled this portion of Cyprus by a Muslim majority country, Turkey, which is run by Erdogan, who many times talks about raising 5 million army and everybody in Israel, the Jews. So, no surprises there. So no, he is not he does not set his temple up in Israel. He does not occupy the temple in Israel. If you want to read more about the abomination or the image of jealousy, it has a name in the Bible, you should read the book of Ezekiel, chapters 8 to 11, which will give you a very fuller picture of what actually goes on in the Jerusalem temple, the next one at the Great Falling Away, which is yet to come. When you're talking temples, I think you need to understand this. There's already been 3 temples. The first temple, which is in the Bible, was Solomon's temple. The second temple, which is in the Bible, was Zerubbabel's temple. Quite small and really didn't have any walls around it. And the third temple was Herod's temple, where Yeshua worked. And he chased the money changers out with a rope and told them they were making his father's house into, it should be a house of prayer. They were making it into a merchandise and chased them out with a rope. So Yeshua recognized that as a temple. So there were 3. And of course, previous to those, we had Moses' tabernacle, but that's not a temple. And the next temple we refer to as Ezekiel's temple. If you want to read more about that, you can read it in Ezekiel chapters 40 to 48. You'll get a lot about it in chapters 43 to 45. So it also tells us in our Bible that Yeshua was crucified outside the gate. He wasn't crucified in Jerusalem. So a lot of people like to twist and turn this to make a point that, you know, the beast is going to be in Jerusalem in the next temple, and he's not. The Bible just told you, I just read it. He's going to be in Pergamos. That's where he dwells. That's where his seat is. He gives the seat to the beast, which is in Pergamos. If you further read Revelation 11, you'll read about the beast and his wars and travels. He's not all that frightening. Read over, Daniel 11. Daniel 11. Okay, that's what I've got for today, guys. And I send my shalom to all those who, and I'm out.